Hello students. So we shall continue with our concept. So the first one is the ribosome. So ribosome, it is the protein factory of the cell. It is called protein factory of the cell because it produces protein. How it produces protein we shall consider in the PUC second year. So ribosomes are present in a cell, right? So ribosomes may be classified as the free ribosomes and the bound ribosomes. See, ribosomes may be freely present in the cytoplasm. Ribosomes may be attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. So when ribosomes are present freely in the cytoplasm, we can call them as free ribosomes. Whereas ribosomes, when they are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, they are called bound ribosomes. Right? So ribosomes, they may be free or bound. Their function is same. They are involved in synthesis of proteins. Now these ribosomes, they are non-membrane bound cell organelles. So ribosomes don't have a membrane. That's why they are called non-membrane bound cell organelles. So a ribosome is composed of RNA and protein. Right? A ribosome is composed of RNA and protein. Now these ribosomes, they were first observed by George Palade, right? So George Palade first observed ribosomes, right? Now ribosomes have two subunits. One is large, another one is small. So large and small subunits, when they combine, a ribosome becomes active, right? So active ribosome is composed of two subunits. They are classified as the large subunit and the small subunit. The ribosomes of prokaryotes, they are called 70S type, whereas the ribosomes of eukaryotes, they are called 80S type. So 70S and 80S, these are the two types of ribosomes. In prokaryotes, 70S, in eukaryotic cells, 80S. Here S stands for Swedberg unit, also called as sedimentation coefficient, right? So that is about the ribosome. Then next we shall consider centrosome. So centrosome is another non-membrane bound cell organelle. So it is also not having a membrane. So centrosomes, right? Centrosomes are found only in animal cells, right? They are absent in plant cells. So all animal cells have a cell organelle called centrosome. Now this centrosome, right, a non-membrane bound cell organelle, is composed of two cylindrical structures, right? It is composed of two cylindrical structures. They are like this. So a centrosome is composed of a pair of cylindrical structures. They are called centrioles. So these are a pair of centrioles, right? So a pair of centrioles together, it is called centrosome. So if you consider the structure, right? If you consider the structure of a centriole, a single centriole. So this centriole, it is composed of tubes, right? It is composed of tubes which are very small, they are called microtubules, right? So a centriole is composed of microtubules, and these microtubules, they are composed of a protein, right? And that protein is called, it is composed of a protein called tubulin. So tubulin is a protein that is found in microtubules. So a single centriole is composed of how many microtubules? So it is composed of 9 microtubules, right? So there are 9 microtubules in each centriole. Now these microtubules are composed of 3 fibers, right? Which is called a triplet. So here it is labeled as peripheral triplet. So you can see here. So this is somewhat a section. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 9 microtubules. Each microtubule is having a triplet 1, 2 and 3, right, which can be observed at the periphery, which is called peripheral triplets, right. Then this central part, right, the central part which is proteinaceous, right, which is made up of protein, it is called as hub. So hub is the central core or central part of a microtubule. The central part, that is hub, is linked to the peripheral triplets with the help of these protein structures which are called radial spokes. So radial spokes, right, radial spokes which are just like filaments, proteinaceous filaments. So these radial spokes, they connect the peripheral triplets with the central hub. So that is the structure of a centriole. Then the function. So centrioles, they perform certain functions. So they form the basal bodies of cilia and flagella. So cilia and flagella, which is commonly found in the lower organisms. For example, Euglena, Paramecium, they have these structures. So cilia are found in Paramecium. Flagellum is found in Euglena. So these cilia and flagella, they arise from centrioles. So that is one role of centrioles, right? Centrioles, they form basal bodies of cilia and flagella. Another important function of centrioles in animal cells, it helps in cell division. So centrioles help in cell division. How? Mainly by producing spindle fibers. So centrioles they produce spindle fibers, and these spindle fibers, they help in cell division, right? So they help in migration of chromosomes during cell division. Again, the details we shall consider in the coming videos. So in simple words, centrioles, they help in cell division by forming spindle fibers. So these are some functions of centrosomes or centrioles. The next we shall consider the cilia and the flagella. So cilia and flagella, they are basically locomotory organs. So a group called Protista, right? Unicellular eukaryotes such as Euglena, then Paramecium, right? So these unicellular organisms have locomotory organs. So Paramecium has locomotory organs which are called cilia. Euglena has a locomotory organ that is called flagellum. One is called cilium, right? Many cilia, one cilium. Many flagella, one flagellum. So cilia and flagella, they are the locomotory organs. Here cilia are small, whereas flagellum is large. So that is the difference between cilia and flagellum, right? Cilia are small, flagellum is large. Function same, they help in locomotion or movement. Then next we will consider the diagrammatic representation of internal structure of cilia or flagellum. So the internal structure of cilia and flagella, it is same, right? The internal structure is same. So this is the diagram or diagrammatic representation that shows the internal structure of a cilium or flagellum. So here this section appears circular. The outermost covering here, the outermost covering, it is called the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane forms the outermost covering of a cilium or a flagellum, right? So this plasma membrane, it protects, it gives protection to this cilium or flagellum. Then the inner part, right? The inner part, also called as the core, right? The inner part is called core, C-O-R-E. The inner part is called core, which is called axoneme, which is called the axoneme. So the outer covering is the plasma membrane. The inner part or the inner core, it is axoneme. Now this axoneme here, in case of a cilium or a flagellum, is composed of microtubules, right? It is composed of microtubules. So here these are microtubules, right? So here, this is one, this is one. So how many? Two. Here two, here two, here two. So a set of two microtubules, they are together. It is called doublet. I will write it here. So doublet indicates two microtubules which are together, right? So a set of two microtubules, it is called doublet. So this is one doublet. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So how many doublets are present here? There are 9 doublets, right? So there are 9 doublets. What is their location? So they are located at the periphery, means sides. So you can observe here, these microtubule doublets, they are located at the sides, which is called periphery. So we call them as the peripheral microtubules or peripheral doublet microtubules, right? Now this doublet is linked to this, or the first is linked to second doublet is linked to third doublet is linked to fourth is linked to fifth, then sixth, seventh, eighth is linked to ninth. Fine. So this link or connection that links the two doublets, what it is called? It is called inter-doublet bridge. So this is the inter-doublet bridge which is present between the two peripheral doublets. So this links the two doublets, right? So the peripheral microtubule doublets are linked by inter-doublet bridge. Then you find a pair of microtubules at the center. So a pair of microtubules are found at the center. They are called central microtubules. So these are the two central microtubules which are again linked by a bridge. So these two central microtubules, they are covered by this covering. You can see here, the central microtubules, they are covered by a covering which is called the central sheath. So the meaning of sheath means the cover, right? So cover is also called as sheath. So the central microtubules are covered by a central sheath. So this is the central sheath. Then these structures here, you can observe these filament-like structures, right? The filament-like structures which connect the central sheath with the peripheral doublets, they are called radial spokes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 radial spokes which connect the central sheath with the peripheral doublets. So this is what you observe, right? So this you observe in the section of a cilium or flagellum. Fine. So that is about the diagrammatic representation of internal structure of cilia and flagella. So we shall revise in brief. You can expect this as a 5-mark question, right? Explain the diagrammatic representation or explain the internal structure of a cilium or a flagellum. 5-mark question. Or you may expect this diagram, right, as a 3 or 5-mark question. So in the section you can see the outer covering, that is called plasma membrane. Inner part is called core, which is called axoneme. Here axoneme is composed of 9 peripheral microtubules which are doublets. The 2 peripheral doublets are linked by interdoublet bridge. Then there are 2 central microtubules which are covered by a central sheath. Central sheath is linked to peripheral doublets by these protein filaments, they are called radial spokes. So that is the internal structure of a cilium and flagellum. So in this video, we have considered the cell organelles like the ribosome, then the centrosomes and cilia and flagella. So with this, we shall stop here and continue in the next video. Thank you.